That's right, you saw it in the thumbnail. All Scarlet and Violet booster boxes are minimum $120 on TCG Player. Welcome back to PokeMarketLab. Kind of a historic day for Scarlet and Violet here. We're going to go through each individual set real quick just for a quick update, but I wanted to show you on the screen now, you're going to see a chart showing the monthly average booster box price for all Scarlet and Violet boxes from the last year. Now, we only have a year's worth of data from TCG Player, so you'll have to bear with me. But we can let's go through the timeline here. So let's look at the very left-hand side of this chart. Back in December of 2023, we have multiple boxes under $100 market price on TCG Player. And we see all the way up through April, May of 2024 now on this chart, we see some slight increases here over time, but nothing dramatic. If you remember, if you've been in the hobby long enough, back in the spring of 2024, Sword and Shield was really still the focus. Scarlet and Violet was just kind of treading water. Sets would come out, and you can see this on the chart here, like that blue line here. Temporal Forces came up, shot up a little bit, and then leveled back down close to that $100 mark. And that was kind of the trend for a long period of time. Scarlet and Violet was very much ignored for a long period of time, and it really wasn't until, let's see here, if we're looking, it really wasn't until Temporal Forces came out that we really saw some kind of jump ups here in market price. So again, to look from a temporal standpoint, spring 2024, Sword and Shield is still reigning king. Scarlet and Violet's putting out some good sets at the time, but just nothing that the market's just not focused on it. The money is just pouring into Sword and Shield. And remember, at the time, the broader cardboard and finance hobby in terms of collecting and investing and just buying of regular products, even outside of Pokemon, was still very much in a bear market. So money just wasn't pouring into, this wasn't seen, it wasn't as popular as it is now. And then as we get into June, July, and August, you can start seeing some upticks here in some of these products, especially after release on some of the newer ones. Twilight Masquerade was really a big turning point for product. And I think what Twilight Masquerade did, it just told everyone in the hobby, like, hey, we can put out some good cards. We can, we have that Greninja that is chaseable. And it just sent signals to the market like, hey, come look at Scarlet and Violet. And that's really the start of it. Obviously, it wasn't just that. There's good product in Scarlet and Violet. And they were putting out really good sets, and they're continuing to put out really good sets. But this is, you can clearly see here now, September was really it. September was the start of the bull run, the current bull run, and everything's just starting to take off. One of the common phrases is that, rising tides lift all boats, and that's exactly what's happening in Scarlet and Violet. Is we have people chasing cheaper boxes, right? Even if they can't get their hands on a Surging Sparks at $200 a box, they want something cheaper. That's a Paradox Rift or Temporal Forces. But now there's nothing under $120 a box. So everything's starting to raise up here. And again, this isn't unnatural. These are really good sets. Maybe outside of Obsidian Flames, Scarlet and Violet base, but in general, there's something to love for everyone here. There's no completely trash sets here. And the market's realizing that, and the money's just pouring in. And I think the health of, I think people were fearful of a recession. I think rightfully so. I think that things have kind of stabilized, and there's some confidence, I think, for the first time, just with money in general. Inflation's a little bit lower. It's a little tempered down a little bit. And I think and there's just money pouring in. And we're starting to see now the question is, does the money continue to pour into Scarlet and Violet? They're continuing to put out great sets. You have Surging Sparks. Twilight Masquerade was a great set. We have Prismatic Evolutions coming out, which is a bit bonkers of a set. Team Rocket, we don't have any previews for that, but obviously the name Team Rocket's huge. So the question now is, with prices rising, does the money keep going into Scarlet and Violet, or does it go back into Sword and Shield? We are seeing some appreciation in Sword and Shield boxes. So let's just go through. That was that chart. Let's go through and look at Scarlet and Violet boxes real quick, kind of see where things are at. The Cyber Monday, Cyber Weekend TCG Player sale was phenomenal for the hobby in general. I was not expecting to see some of these numbers here, like Scarlet and Violet base with just a lot sold. I mean, yeah, there's just, people were picking up anything they could at cheap prices, regardless of how good the set was. Obviously, there are better buys than Scarlet and Violet base, but people were just seeing it as a cheap entry point. So Paldea Evolved, phenomenal performance on that weekend sale. Look at that spike, over 300 boxes sold on November 28th. Massive uptick for this product. This product was already reprinted, so if you're holding on to this, fantastic. If you want to get into some Paldea, I think 140 is a little expensive compared to some other sets that I personally like better, but to each their own. Paldea was seen as the first set with a chase card in Scarlet and Violet, so it is certainly beloved by many, obviously. We've seen some really good sales. Over 2,800 boxes sold in the last year, so really, really good performance. Obsidian Flames doing very well as well. $123 market price, 2,700 boxes sold, so actually right around the same number of boxes sold in the last year as Paldea Evolved. Paradox Rift, another $120 market price. Done very well last year, 3,700 boxes sold in the last year. Good mid-tier set, nice 35% return in the year. Temporal Forces, certainly above a mid-tier set. That would be a notch above for me. $135 price point, over 7,000 boxes sold in the last year. This isn't even a full year old, so this is done exceptionally well. And it still flies under most people's radar. I'd rather have a Temporal Forces box versus Paldea any day of the week. Just better artwork, I think. And I think this is still a decent entry price here. That's only going to run up. I mean, this is less than 200 boxes on TCG Player. 7,000 boxes is a lot sold for Pokemon on TCG Player. It's a lot. So that means a good amount of the sealed booster box population has been sold through TCG Player already. So Twilight Masquerade, phenomenal set. And again, I truly believe this was the lever. This was the point, the line in the sand, whatever you want to call it, where things really started to shift and people were like, oh crap, Scarlet Violet's really good. And it's not just Twilight Masquerade. There's a lot of good stuff here. Almost 7,000 boxes sold in the last year. Still some good volume, some good numbers listed on TCG Player here. It'll take a while to flesh out, but fantastic product. Still under MSRP. I don't think this is a bad hold long term, but you know, another thing we need to talk about is, hey, you know, our price memory needs to change at some point, right? $100 booster boxes are not going to be common. They're not just not going to happen. I mean, even if you have bad sets, unfortunately, we're at the point where you get so many scalpers, investors, and people, short-term people that are coming into the market, these transient folks that are going to buy boxes at whatever prices. It doesn't matter. There's not going to be any pre-orders at $100 box anymore, at least for the short term. So Stellar Crown, another good set. I would call this a B-tier set. Solid, fun to open, very fun to open. Over 6,100 boxes sold, which is actually really good considering it hasn't been out that long. It only came out in the summer. And 6,100, so most of, you know, what we have seen sold for like a Twilight Masquerade. So this is definitely, I would say, one of the better pickups for its price. $120 a box. It's still young. There's other, you know, the money's focusing on some other boxes at this point. So 120, this is a good buy at this price. Especially, you could probably get these cheaper than that on maybe TikTok, and it's definitely a good pickup there. And last but not least, Surging Sparks, over 7,000 boxes sold, and this thing's only a couple months old. That is phenomenal. And we have about 700 boxes listed on TCG Player. These are going to continue to dry up. The singles are ridiculously robust at this point, which is going to continue to drive. We know what happens when we have a really big chase in a product, right? We've seen it with Evolving Skies that pushes the booster box price up. This will absolutely be the most expensive box in Scarlet and Violet. It is. It will be the box that hits, at this point, it'll be the box that hits $500 a pop. When? I don't know, but I think 2025, $500 a pop for Surging Sparks, if this bull market continues, is probably a reasonable assumption. Prismatic Evolutions, if we don't see more come to market, could be the wild card in this whole thing, as I mean, if we hit release date on ETBs at $100 a pop, then and there's no more coming to market, I don't know what's going to happen there. That could be a weird one where we start seeing a specialty set ETB outperform regular Scarlet and Violet booster boxes by double or triple. So weird times. And that's, you know, these kind of times when things are wild like this, it makes it much harder to predict. It makes it much harder to figure out, okay, you know, where do I enter? Where do I put my money? So make sure in these times, don't just follow what's going up. Don't just follow what, you know, people like myself are saying on YouTube. I appreciate the likes, comments, and the watch, but form your own opinions. Is what you're buying good? Is the underlying cards in it good? right? If you think they're good, there's a high likelihood that other people think they're good as well. So make sure you're making good, decisions. Like, should you go spend $120 on Scarlet and Violet base? I don't think so. No, I think you should pick up Stellar Crown instead for $120. It's just a better set. It's just a better set, and it's not that much younger than Scarlet and Violet. It's different if you're going back 3 or 4 years and picking up a box, right? That adds value to it. That's just the fact that it's old and it's becoming rare. Scarlet and Violet base isn't rare yet. Pick up Stellar Crown for that kind of price. But you can see that what's happening is, again, people aren't even looking at what's in the set. They're just saying, oh, this is Scarlet and Violet and this is cheap, so I'm going to buy it. So make sure you have a plan. So yeah, really good news for Scarlet and Violet. It's a fantastic era. We have so much more to come. So it's exciting times. Just be careful. The frenzy gets the best of us with emotion. So that's it for this one, and we will see you on the next one. Take care.